All right. Hello, Facebook. It's Testimony Tuesday. This is Angie Harper, and I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Nancy Bryan. Dr. Nancy she lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, but she happens to be on grandkid duty in Louisville, as evidence behind her, in Louisville, Kentucky. And Dr. Nancy is a doctor of pharmacology since 1981. She is a biochemist, and she's also a human and veterinary formulator. So, I'm really excited to have her on my Testimony Tuesday. I really try to keep my Testimony Tuesdays under 10 minutes. However, with this interview, I might go just a little bit over because she's got some valuable information to share. And I would like her to share her story of how she came to our company, to the company LifeVantage, why a doctor of pharmacology, a pharmacist, would have any interest in joining LifeVantage. So Nancy, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, because you know what? I'm so absolutely honored and grateful, first of all, to be here because my true passion about all of what I do with my career has been about making a difference for people. And that's truly what this platform is able to allow us to do. So I'm so grateful for that. My background is definitely in pharmacy and in taking care of people. And I was very successful at the things I did, a lot of work with long-term care, a lot of work in just lots of different areas and formulating or whatever. But what ended up happening is I was always doing really great healthy things like exercise and taking good supplements and all that. But guess what? I wasn't controlling my emotional stress. And I just would like to put this out there today because of where we are right now. It is so important to help take care of your emotional stress because it is very, very tough on our system. And because I didn't, I had some gene expression that resulted in me having breast cancer. And it happened to be in my family and it was an issue. And so when I had breast cancer, I also ended up with a melanoma, was having a lot of difficulties. And it was shocking to me. I was the healthiest person I knew. And it was shocking to my friends because I was the healthiest person they knew. But the bottom line is if you don't take care of your ability to control stress in your body, be it either from your emotions or from all the other things like Wi-Fi and all the stuff going on, your body takes a beating and then you have bad gene expression. That's what happened. And I was so blessed to have a dear friend of mine who's a surfer actually go through melanoma at the same time. And he told me about a study. That study changed everything for me because it opened my eyes to taking different looks at how we can help our body optimize itself.
So let me get this straight. A surfer told you, a doctor,
Yeah,
about a study. Okay. Okay.
because in the end, the reason this is important is that doctors didn't know about it, but a surfer heard about it from someone else,
I love
and
that.
wanted me to see. He didn't come to me to give it to me as something to help me. He brought it to me to look at to see if it was real. He wanted me to see the science. Was this real science? And I'll be honest with you, we were on the phone and I was kind of rolling my eyes, going, okay, yeah, like a surfer is going to know more about this than my buddies in research, right? But here's the thing, all things start somewhere. And that was a real study. And when I saw it, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. And you know what? That really truly is, I think, one of the most difficult things for people when they first hear information is because there's so much out there today in marketing that we're afraid to believe in. And so I get that. So I tell people, you
Yeah.
know what, your own research because it is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's important to know when you walk into GNC, and you see thousands of products. How do you know which product is for you, right? And that's what I tell people. If you can go to PubMed and you can read studies on the product, then you're probably onto something. But if you can't,
Yes. And
yeah,
and let me tell you something. Most of the stuff out on those shelves will say they have science, but it's borrowed science.
yeah,
What really struck me about this was that LSU study was on this exact formulation.
right.
That important thing is that exactly what it was that I was looking at for my friend to take, it was exactly what the study was on. And that's not what happens most of the time. What we see most of the time in research is they'll do research on ingredients, but you have absolutely no way to verify what's in that study is what's in the bottle you're taking.
Right. So let's talk about that. So the surfer told you about this. You became a customer on the product. What made you decide to join the business? I know you told us the story in Cancun. We were sitting in the pool, and I had no idea to the depth of quality control that our company actually goes through. I didn't know until you told me. So I know you flew out to headquarters. You got to see exactly how our product is formulated. Can you share?
And you know what? It was really important to me because as a person that formulates and as a person that's done the research, when you're in pharmacy, I also worked for a pharmaceutical company. I know a lot about the background of what goes into making products and how important it is that what you're saying is in the bottle is exactly, both for quality and safety, the most important part, right? So what I found was that our quality controls it blew me away. I will be honest with you, because I know pharmaceutical grade from a perspective of prescriptions and medications, but I also know that even when things are nutrient wise pharmaceutical grade, they still are allowed to do things like something called skip lot checking, which means that they only have to check so many every so many batches and so many bottles. And when I went in to see what we did, I will tell you, I don't want to spend a lot of time on all of the efforts that we do. I will tell you two things. There's a place that you can go right up front in our website page, and it's one of our podcasts that's called Flip the Switch on Quality Controls and Assurance. And the thing that you need to know most important is we not only check everything at the end, because that, you know, at the end you've got the end product. The important thing is for safety and quality controls. A lot of people will do some of those things. But we start at the very beginning with the raw ingredients that are mom and pop farming places sometimes all over the world. And we get all those ingredients and test all those ingredients independently, no matter what their certification says. Then we review their certification, and a lot of times we give them back raw ingredients or don't accept them to begin with. And that's what's sold to a lot of other people.
Yep.
So in the end, what you need to know and understand, and I would love and encourage you to go take a look, because that quality control conversation goes into great depth, and you'll be really amazed at what's there. But the bottom line is, I had to know one thing, and that was, if I'm going to take it for myself, I want to know that I'm going to get those, I can expect those kinds of results over and over. And I need to know that they're safe. I need to know that they're grown without pesticides, without herbicides, with no heavy metals. All of those things take place in every single batch. And that's really, really important. And as a result of it, we have certifications that most other people don't get.
Yeah,
Like,
I give it to my children, my two boys, 13 and 15. So, I mean, it's extremely important that I know what I'm giving them. Absolutely.
yeah.
So, another question I have for you, and I know I've asked you this in the past because I've got a couple friends that are breast cancer survivors. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And some doctors, many doctors are open to holistic alternatives nowadays, which is incredible. But there are some who still really aren't. And I had a question from a friend of mine whose doctor was questioning one of the ingredients, ashwagandha, in relation to her taking it because she's a hormonal breast cancer survivor. And I asked you the question, can you share your response? Because I loved your response.
Well, first and foremost, if the physicians do have knowledge on nutrients, and there are some oncologists in particular, they have to, because they're protecting their patients and they want to make sure that the medications and treatments that they're utilizing are not interfered with. So there are some that are very knowledgeable in terms of things. And so if they have the knowledge, they may see the ingredients in our bottle or whatever the patients are taking and look them up, and they'll read on that particular ingredient. Well, here's the part that's missing when they're going and looking at just a single ingredient. First and foremost, our products are blends of tiny amounts. And so it becomes something different. It's not just that ingredient. And most of the time when they're looking at an ingredient causing an interference or creating something that they're not wanting created, it's on a what I would call a therapeutic dose of that based on what a homeopath would do. And it might be quite large amounts. But the thing that's really the most important, not only do we have a tiny amount, but it's acting together in a manner that activates our body. And the activation of what happens in our body is so significant that we've had the Washington State University state the Nrf2 pathway is the master regulator of our inflammatory processes, of our fibrolytic processes, and most importantly, our cytoprotective processes. That's how we protect ourselves. And they've been the ones that at their conclusion stated that this is going to be one of the biggest breakthroughs for therapeutic and for preventative treatments in the history of medicine. It didn't say this week, this month, this decade, this century.
The history of medicine. That's pretty huge.
So
that's really the synergy of the ingredients.
Yes, the synergy of those ingredients act completely differently than giving one of those ingredients by themselves. And we have many studies to be able to back that.
Okay, last question. What do you say to people who say, oh, I eat well, I take vitamin C, I take, vitamin D. Obviously right now our immune health is at the forefront of most people's minds given the current situation that we're in right now. So what's your answer to people? What can they do to protect themselves?
Well, first and foremost, I commend them. I'm really grateful that they're trying. Because you know what? Nutrients that we take from our food sources is what our body is looking for. So I think that's really important. And I commend them that they've read up on certain things like vitamin C and vitamin D. And I tell them, make sure you know your sources are really clean and good. 99% of vitamin C out there is synthetic. So most, I'd rather they eat a few extra oranges, but that's another day. But most importantly is, because of the overwhelming amount of other things in our bodies, we have not kept up mutating and changing our own abilities to be able to fight these things. Like when we're young, that process works very well. But as we get older, the pathways that help protect us start diminishing, and we need those to be activated again. And the fruits and vegetables and all of that are excellent direct antioxidants from the outside, but they can only do so much. We need our own antioxidants on the inside that are millions of times more powerful to be activated. And so that requires having a little bit of extra help through nutrients that are sort of the turbocharge to help our system really activate.
Okay, I know I said that was the last question, but this is the last question. Glutathione, can you explain to everybody the importance of it? And then I promise that's it.
Ask me, because you know what, glutathione is incredible. And I know a lot of people today think they can get that from an outside source, but you cannot. You can get a very tiny amount, like maybe 1%. But when your own body activates, glutathione is one of our master antioxidants. It's something that really helps keep our liver safe and clean. It really helps a huge detoxification level, and it really goes a long way to helping our immune systems to operate properly. So it's very important. And when we can activate our own body through Nrf2 activation, that Nrf2 activation will help to produce somewhere up to 300 times. So we can see a massive amount of glutathione be produced to be able to go out and to be that turbo that we need to help boost those fruits and vegetables. Yes, we need all the parts in there that we may not even know all the parts of that are helpful. But this is in addition to that to help boost us and get us through, like you're going to do with your vehicle. You want to have that turbo when you really need that extra pickup.
I love it. Okay. So much great information as always. I just really enjoy talking to you. Cannot wait to see you at some point soon and give you a big hug.
Me too.
I know. Thank you so much for your time today. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Don't forget to go look up that on flip the switch.
Yeah, you know what? I'll actually post that podcast. Was it a blog or a pod? I think it was a blog. Yeah, I'll post it in the comments here so people can read that. That's actually, when I read that, I'm like, I got to have Dr. Nancy on my Testimony Tuesday. So that's kind of what spurred it.
It's exceptional.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.